Did you know that animation in Africa dates back to the 1930s? It's a story that's often overlooked, a vibrant history hidden in plain sight. This is the story of African animation, from its earliest pioneers to its modern-day renaissance. For too long, the narrative of animation history has centered almost exclusively on Europe, North America, and Japan. But the African continent boasts a long and diverse heritage of animated film, television, and digital works. This is a corrective, a chance to shine a light on the under-recognized. Let's journey back to the beginning, to the early days of moving images in Africa. We'll uncover the key figures, the groundbreaking techniques, and the cultural significance of animation on the continent. The story begins not in West Africa or South Africa, as some might expect, but in Egypt. In 1936, the Frankel brothers created what's widely considered the first African animated film, Mish-Mish Effendi. It was a cultural phenomenon in Egypt, and a landmark moment in animation history. The Frankel brothers continued their work, releasing another animated short, Good Appetite, in 1946. These early Egyptian pioneers laid the foundation for a tradition that would continue to evolve and diversify across the continent. Egypt further cemented its position as an early hub for animation when it established the first animation department within the National Television Channel in 1960. This initiative, associated with Olimub, provided a platform for Egyptian animators to develop their craft and reach a wider audience. But the story of African animation extends far beyond Egypt. In 1963, Moustapha Alassane of Niger entered the scene with La Mort du Genji. Alassane is considered a foundational figure, often hailed as the father of African animation. A self-taught artist, Alassane used stop-motion animation with simple puppets and even direct drawing on film to bring his stories to life. His work wasn't just commercial entertainment, it was high art, a form of cultural expression that resonated deeply with audiences. That same year, Algeria joined the growing ranks of African animation producers with La Fête El Abra, created by Mohamed Aram. These early examples illustrate a key point: African animation developed through discrete national pockets. Egypt, Niger, Algeria, and later Mali and the Democratic Republic of Congo, each fostered its own unique animation scene, rather than relying on a single continental studio system. In 1988, Mona Abu El Nosser, an Egyptian animator studying in the United States, produced a survival, showcasing the growing influence of African talent on the global stage. A year later, Mombaya Coulibaly of Mali created Sigu Janjo, Logesta Sigu, a testament to the power of animation to preserve and celebrate African history and culture. Jean-Michel Kibushi in the Democratic Republic of Congo returned to early stop-motion traditions while adding paper cutouts and puppets, showing technical continuity rather than simple imitation of foreign styles. These pioneers demonstrated that African animation was not simply a carbon copy of Western styles but a unique and evolving art form. So, why does African animation matter? It matters because it provides a medium for preserving cultural heritage, telling historical events, and representing linguistic and cultural diversity through visual storytelling. It's a powerful tool for education, entertainment, and cultural expression. Early animators like Moustapha Alassane helped establish that African filmmakers could use animation to create distinctly African forms rather than simply importing foreign cartoons. The rise of animation in multiple African countries shows that animation became a tool for national cultural expression, especially where live-action production was constrained by cost, infrastructure, or access to equipment. Today, African animation is experiencing a renaissance. Contemporary African animation now has global reach, with recent titles such as Super Team 4 and Iwajo appearing on global platforms like Netflix and Disney. But this modern resurgence is built on the foundations laid by those early pioneers. African animation is also tied to industrial growth. In 2021, the continent produced over 100 animated films and TV shows, suggesting a maturing production base. The 2022 estimate of a 12.3 billion African animation market indicates that animation is being treated as part of the continent's wider creative economy, not just art history. Recent international recognition for African animated projects shows a shift from isolated national production to global distribution and co-production. The field now includes public scholarship, festival circuits, and online discussion spaces, suggesting that African animation is becoming both a research topic and a commercial sector. But despite its rich history and growing popularity, African animation still faces challenges. One of the biggest is the misconception that it's a new or imported art form. This narrative ignores the significant contributions of early animators like the Frankel brothers and Moustapha Alassane. Another tension is Egypt's place in African animation history. While many popular narratives center sub-Saharan examples, the earliest documented African animation comes from Egypt in the 1930s and 1940s. The phrase, many consider Moustapha the father of African animation, indicates a contested canon. The title of father reflects recognition, but it can also flatten the contributions of earlier Egyptian artists and later pioneers in other countries. Ultimately, the biggest challenge facing African animation is visibility. It has often been underdocumented in mainstream animation histories, which is why contemporary scholarship is explicitly trying to map pioneers, festivals, and national lineages. In conclusion, the story of African animation is a story of innovation, resilience, and cultural pride. It's a story that deserves to be told, a story that challenges our assumptions about animation history and celebrates the rich and diverse artistic traditions of the African continent. By recognizing the contributions of early pioneers and supporting the growth of the modern industry, we can help ensure that African animation continues to thrive for generations to come.